We are live, guys. Thank you so much for joining today. Today, I want to share with you a really important message. So, today, we'll be talking about the primary message of the Bible. What is the primary message of the Bible? What does the Bible talk about most of the times? I got to make a disclaimer before I say what I'm going to say right now. Everything I'm going to say that the Bible is not about, I know the importance they have in our lives. I know the importance they have in the Bible. I know and I am convinced that they are really, really important. That's my disclaimer. Now I can say what I'm going to say. All right. The primary message of the Bible is not about the cross. It's not about the cross. The primary message of the Bible is not about creation. The primary message of the Bible is not about redemption. The primary message of the Bible is not about Holy Communion. It's not about that. I'm going to tell you, the primary message of the Bible, let's read it. Matthew 24, verse 14. Matthew 24, verse 14. It says that, "And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and the end will come." What gospel? The gospel of what? It's not the gospel of the three angels. It is not the gospel of creation or redemption, but the gospel of the kingdom. Everything else I have mentioned, they find their place inside of the message of the kingdom. Creation, redemption, the cross, communion, and all of these messages or gospels, they find their place inside of the message of the kingdom. So, but what kingdom they are talking about? It is the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God. So, now here is what it is. What is a kingdom? Most of the times, I'm going to tell you what a kingdom is not first. Most of the times when we talk about kingdom, what comes to people's mind is the palace. Is the palace where the king resides. But a kingdom is not the palace where the king resides. A kingdom is the whole territory where the king dominates. I will say that again. A kingdom is the whole territory where a king dominates. That's why it is called king dominion. Kingdom dominates. Kingdom. That's why it's called a kingdom. So that's what a kingdom is the territory where a king dominates. In the Bible, they talk about a kingdom, the kingdom of God. And in many places in the Bible, God referred to himself as the king of kings. Yes, I understand. God refers to himself as many other concepts in the Bible. God, he is the king, he is the lion, he is the lamb. He says all these things about himself. And it is really important for us to understand each concept of which God refers to himself as. If God talks about himself as a lamb, we need to understand the concept of lamb. If God talks about himself as the lion, we need to understand the concept of lion. Because there is a message that God is trying to teach us through this concept. If God talks about himself as an eagle, we need to understand the concept of ego so that we get the message that God is trying to give us, or we learn the lesson that God is trying to teach us through this concept. So that's why I understand it is so important for us to understand the concept of kingdom in the Bible, because God speaks about himself so many times in the Bible as the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. The greatest kingdom that has ever existed forever and ever is the kingdom of God. The greatest kingdom that has ever existed forever and ever is the kingdom of God. You can take all of the kingdom of the world, all of the kingdoms of the world, put them all together. The kingdoms you have read about in history of the countries, the kingdoms you have read about in the history of the Bible, put them all together, they cannot compare to the kingdom of God. They cannot. There is no way. In terms of government, in terms of riches, in terms of army, they cannot compare to the kingdom of God, to the kingdom of heaven. They cannot. You can take all of the armies of all of the kingdoms that you've ever read in history, put them all together, the armies of all of the countries, they cannot compare to the army of the kingdom of God. Oof. Take the riches of all of the countries of the world, put them all together. They cannot compare to the riches of the kingdom of heaven. Wow, that's powerful. Whatever you want to compare, take them all, put them all together, and compare them with the kingdom of God. They cannot. There is no way. But I don't want to start talking about the kingdom of heaven right now, because the kingdom of heaven is invisible. We cannot see it. So I would like to talk a little bit more about the kingdom concept on the physical realm before I speak about the kingdom of God in the invisible realm. Because if you don't understand kingdom in the physical realm, it is hard for you, it is impossible for you to understand the kingdom of heaven as being invisible. And I believe that's the reason why nobody is talking about the message of the kingdom, because they don't understand the message of the kingdom. And here in Matthew 24, verse 14, it says the message that has to be preached before the end comes is the message of the kingdom. The message of the kingdom of God. I want to leave you here with this today. I don't want to give you more. If you feel this is something you would like to learn more about, I would like you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment or leave a question, a comment or a question, so that I can answer and so that I can see that somebody is interested in knowing more about the kingdom of heaven. And if you're interested, I will come next week and I will share with you more about the kingdom of God. Okay? So thank you very much for taking the time to watch the video today. If you're interested in knowing more about the kingdom of God, let me know that in the comment, and then I will come and tell you more about the kingdom of God. All right? Thank you. Have a great day.